Yo, hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there. Got an interesting notification yesterday. I was late at night looking at my YouTube studio and it said, happy birthday to your channel. And I'm like, that's weird. Okay. I hadn't even thought about it truly. And I went and looked, and sure enough, 12 years ago yesterday, I posted my very first YouTube video. And as terrible as it was, and it is terrible, it started me on this journey, and it's been a lot of fun over the last dozen years, which seems like forever. I actually started watching content. I actually created my username, I guess, in 07, watched content for a really long time, and then turned the camera on very sporadically at first, and then more regularly as time went on. And yeah, so thanks to everybody that's either on the journey now, recently joined my cardboard journey, or has been with me for a long, long time. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you. But I do want to bring up something. As I was watching my buddy, my good friend, JT, wearing the hat for a reason today, Triple Crown 24 sports cards. He does a series of vlog videos on different shows that he either attends and or is a setup at. So hang on one second. Sorry about that. My wife was coming home and I knew the dogs would go nuts. So I spared you guys that. But as I was saying, JT does these vlogs about his experience at these card shows, mostly from the dealer perspective. And I love his attitude. I love his willingness to acknowledge mistakes, willingness to grow, and just become better at what he does. And so I'm watching the one that he just posted yesterday from Culture Collision down in Atlanta. Great show for him. And I have a pet peeve that I wanted to bring up, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because it boggles my mind how people do this. And I just need, if someone does this and gets away with it, I need an explanation, please. He had a person come up to him and say, hey, what do you want for this card? Seems like a relatively innocuous question. However, JT has prices on all his cards. So to me, to ask that question is like, okay, so what do you want for this card? Well, if I'm JT, the snarkiness in me would say, I put a price tag on it. That's what I want for this card. Now, we all know what the guy means, right? But the way that comes across is just not very, very good, right? So to say, what do you want for this card? I put a price on it. That's what I want for this card. Again, should be the painfully obvious response. Now, to ask something like, or even to say, hey, how low would you go on this card? That to me is like, how dumb do you have to ask, how dumb do you think I am? I put a price tag on it. Now, it would be an okay question in either sense if there was no price tags on the card. And maybe, let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt that was asking the question to JT, perhaps he's so indoctrinated with the absolute laziness of most dealers to not price their cards that it's just now for him a routine and a ritual that he just spews out every time he looks at a card. He's potentially been, brainwashed to ask that question because so many people don't price cards. But JT's not one of those. He's a good dealer. He prices his cards. What he wants for that card is printed out on the sticker on the card. So you say, well, Mike, you never pay sticker. I agreed. No lying there. But I take a different tact. And I think this is much, nicer to the dealer. I'm trying to be fair. And so let's say I'm at a show table and I see a card that I'm interested in, that I like. I might look up recent sales on that card. Before this is pre-talking to the dealer. I see their price and I'm like, it might. I truly, shockingly, I don't have, this mental Rolodex of prices for every single card and every single grade and all the things rolling around in my head. I'm going to look it up. And so I see a card I'm interested in, haven't engaged the dealer yet, look up the price, recent comps, to say, okay, I'd be willing to pay some amount here, which might be some amount lower than the sticker price. And so I would then say to the dealer, after doing my own research and my own homework, I might say something to the effect of, would you take X, I'll say it's a $100 card and I'm willing to pay 80. I really feel comfortable at 80. Would you take 80 for this card? And the dealer, with it's their card, they get to price it, they get to decide, has the option to say yes, no, or quote a different price, or start the negotiating process. Truly, honestly, if I was really wanting to pay 80, I might offer 70 and hope to land on 80 and be willing to pay 80. If the dealer takes 70 as my first offer, then I'm more than thrilled to pay even less. But I'm going to approach it from, what am I really willing to pay? Not how low will they go, not how cheap will they make it. I'm going to decide a price in my head. Plenty of times, so many times, I can't even tell you guys, I look at prices, look up comps, and go, no way, because he's got it priced twice as much as I might be willing to pay, and so I don't even bother. But if we're close, if I think we can get there, I'll always ask, would you be willing to take this amount? He or she can say yes or no. Their full right to do that. My right to either counter or walk away. But to me, that's an appropriate way to handle a, negotiation at a card table. With a dealer, you want to respect the dealer. I'm not trying to, hey, what's the absolute minimum that you'll take on this card? Because, and then I'll ask for even lower, just like, and they use comps, and, it was an interesting exchange to watch on JT's video, between him and the other guy, using comps, and people will always use comps to their favor. Guilty. I'm just as guilty. If the last comp favors me, I'm going to bring that up. If the last comp doesn't favor me and what I want to pay, I'll say, yeah, but the one just sold a week before that for this. And again, I'm always trying to buy a card for the cheapest amount that I can. The dealer's trying to sell it for as much as they can. Both are fair perspectives. Neither one of us are wrong in that. And so we just have to find a compromise that makes sense, that he's willing to live with and I'm willing to live with. So, and what's funny is I'm going to show you a card today that I bought on eBay that I paid way more than I would typically be willing to, but there's a reason. So it's not that it's an exclusive, this is always true, universally true statement. But, it's these back and forth. It is how you use your language. It is how you say things. It is your tone. All of that matters, I think, when you're just talking to anyone, first of all, but certainly when you're trying to negotiate for a card that you'd like to add to your collection. And I do think that collectors are a lot more cognizant of this than flippers typically are, because they're all about the rate of return and the money and all of that stuff. I'm just trying to get a cool card that I want to keep in my forever PC at the cheapest price possible, because that allows me to have more money for other cards that I want to add to my forever PC. So that's our reasoning, not because we're trying to flip it and make a quick buck. So those two, I think, different objectives matter. And it does matter in the way you handle it and the way you talk. So just a funny exchange that I watched that just made me really I was sitting there going, this guy doesn't get it. And JT, to his credit, stood his ground, and just said, no, I want my number. I want to get, or at least way closer to my number of what I have the card priced at and what I really think it's worth. And so good on him. All right. I've got some cool stuff to show you guys today, and we'll talk through that right now. Let me know what you think down below of all the negotiating things I just brought up. I'm not saying that I have written the book on this or have all the answers and, uh, have the absolute right opinion on this, but I'd love to hear what you think. So hang on, let's look at some cards. All right, I did get a flurry of fun stuff from some people that I want to show. The first one, this is from Kale. Kale is my buddy who went with me to the Dallas Card Show with Chris from Missouri and Tom and Coop. And he says, "Dear Mike, thank you so much." That's a lot of so's. 1, 2, 3, 5 of them. That's awesome. That's a lot of so's. "I cannot put into words how much fun I had. It was a memory and an experience that I will truly cherish forever. I was fascinated by all of the cards that I saw and fascinated with how much cool stuff I got. The card community is truly special, and you have, some very awesome, generous friends." I agree, Kale. "This was truly the highlight of my year." It's only January, kid. You're all right. "And I owe it to you. Thank you so much for the experience and getting me into card collecting." If you wanted to summarize why we are what we are as a community, this is it. Kale is 14. He's new into cards. He was able to have a fun experience, and I was able to facilitate that, which is great. And Chris contributed to that, and Coop contributed to that, and Tom contributed to that, and all of it mattered. It takes a village. It takes all of us to spur on the next generation and keep them going. And so I got this from Kale, and he also sent me some cards, which this is awesome. I had never even seen these before. These are a set of cards. I don't know if it's complete, but it's quite a few from a set that the Rangers put out for their 50th anniversary, which would have been 2022. So you've got Fergie Jenkins, Bump Wills, Al Oliver, Burt Blyleven, Jeff Burrows, Tom Grieve, Jim Sundberg, my favorite as a kid, Gaylord Perry, Toby Hara, and Mike Hargrove. So, there's no Buddy Bell, no Mickey Rivers or Julio Franco, or this is maybe part of a series or something. There's no numbering, so I don't know how many are in this set, but I'd never seen these, and I think they're awesome, and now it makes me want to go look for more of them. So thank you, Kale, or see if there's more of them. Really appreciate that. The next thing I got, this is from RJ, who is a great channel. RJ collects sets, big Mike Schmidt guy, does a lot of sets and great in the community. He says, "I've been a longtime fan of your channel all the way back when you talked about collecting baseball-themed postage stamps, which I do as well. By the way, I have an extra sheet of the Hank Aaron stamps on the envelope if you need it. Happy to say I can add an item to your amazing collection. Looking forward to the next season of Showcase Showdown," which is, by the way, shameless plug. First episode will be out next week. RJ, and he put collect sets, which is what his channel is. So, RJ, I do have, in fact, it's right here. I'll show you. Y'all haven't seen these. Super cool. I don't even know if I've shown these off, but I have multiple sheets of this. This is the Hank Aaron commemorative postage stamp that came out not that long ago. Just a full sheet of the stamps. I bought two of them. Why buy one when you can buy two for twice the price? So I did. I love the stamps. I just think that's a cool commemoration of things. I have a bunch of stamps, baseball themed stamps in the collection, and these are now part of it. So yeah, just thought I'd show you, RJ. I do have a couple of sheets of those, but thank you for the offer. Here's what he did send me, because he wanted to know if I had this, and I did not. This is Chris Young, general manager for the Rangers, the architect of the Rangers World Series championship from 2023. And yeah, he put that team together, and just is a great general manager, former player, pitched for the Rangers, as a matter of fact. And so he knows the game, and super smart, savvy GM, and we're glad to have him. So That is so cool. This is from, I think, Archives, probably fan favorites or something. So love that. Absolutely love that. It's going in the Rangers auto binder. So thank you, RJ. And then what? Believe it or not, another one. I know this is from Andy. Not She Blinded Me with Refractors, Andy. Different Andy. Mike, big fan of your YouTube channel. I recently found a box of 2022 Stadium Club and got both of these cards in the same pack, and both made me think of you. Hopefully, you don't already have them, which I don't. I've already looked at them. Even if you do, I'm sure you don't have this Lou Gehrig foil nostril variant. Anyway, thanks for all you do for the hobby, and take care. Andy, thank you so much. So what he sent me was, well, it won't matter. You can tell. It's a Nolan Ryan Stadium Club, which of course, I'm a big dog guy. I'm a big Nolan Ryan guy, and I do occasionally wear a cowboy hat. So yeah, it's like, hey, I'm a Texan. That's what that picture screams from Nolan Ryan. Just in case you guys didn't know, I'm from Texas. So cool Stadium Club there. And then this Lou Gehrig, which is the red foil version. What's cool about this picture, I was actually talking to Garrett about this. This is going to be great for the Gehrig binder that I'm going to do. Let's get that off. But this picture, actually, I'm going to move this over because I'm going to put another picture right here, I hope, if I can find it, of the actual picture. And it's a spring training, I guess, or something, where Joe DiMaggio is pictured with Lou Gehrig, because he's jumping over a bat in this picture, and it's very hard to tell. It's like they cropped it down, but I think it would have been cooler if they showed the whole thing. But hopefully I can find that picture and put that there. But thank you, Andy, for those. Definitely awesome stuff to add to the collection. All right, I did get a 4 Decade set card. It's a new Hall of Famer here, Dave Parker. 1984 Topps did this whole series on the players that were the career leaders in different statistical categories at the time. They would put 3 different players. I think this was, prior to, the only one that did not picture a current Hall of Famer at the time. I think all the rest of them do. When I do my 84 showcase tabletop, I will show all of these because it's just full of all-time greats. And Pete Rose here, Bill Madlock, who arguably should be in the Hall of Fame, is also pictured. So you got 2 Pirates there. And I bought, this was a 4 Sharp Corners purchase. It's a cheap card, but is a part of my 4 Decade set. So picked that up. And finally, the last card that I got today. Take this out of here. You see the price tag on it. That's not what I paid, but it's not far from what I paid. This is a 2016 Immaculate Marks Don Mattingly. This is the red parallel. There's a base card and a red parallel for each of the cards in the set. There are 25-ish cards in the set. I had been looking for this card for the better part of 9 years. This was the last card that I needed to complete both the base set and the red parallel set. I will probably now, in fact, I'm almost obligated now to do a showcase, a tabletop showcase of all of said autographs in this set. And they're so good. I love the design. It's very clean. Bitch all you want about no logos. I don't really care, truthfully. I think it's a great looking card, a great looking set. This happens to be number 1 of 25. I am not one of those people that puts any premium or extra value on the bookends of a numbering or on jersey number for that matter. I don't care. It's still 1 of, it just happens to say 1 on it of 25. It's still out of 25. It could be 2 out of 25. I'd love the card just as much. It doesn't matter. This was a very cool set that they put out in 2016 that I started in 2016. And I've been working on it ever since and could never find this card and finally found it. I paid, I don't know, $130 for it or something like that. And was just overpaid. Didn't care, I guess, at the end of the day. I questioned it for a couple of days, but I ended up just saying, screw it. It's the last one I need. let's go ahead and I've never seen another one. So it's like, okay, if it's that rare or that scarce, that's the right word, scarce, and that you don't see it, go ahead and get it. And I did. So glad to add that. And that is it for today's mail, guys. Thanks so much for sticking with me if you've made it this far in the video. Appreciate you. Thanks so much. Keep being just great in the community, everybody. Talk to you soon. Keep collecting.